Hello everyone, this is just a dad. Today I'm going to do an unboxing and show you how to install this Blink wired floodlight camera. Here's everything that comes in the box. I've got an electrical box up here and we're actually going to hook it up and show you how it works. So all the screws are in these bags and they'll mean something when we start on it. Take the paper off of the camera. The camera comes installed already. These are the floodlights. You will be able to adjust them up, down. You can adjust the camera. We may need to tighten this in order to get that, but it seems pretty tight. Around back, it's got 3 wires, which we're going to hook up to electricity. It's got an O-ring here, so we can put it up against the electrical box, a center place for the center mount screw to go. And you will need to scan that QR code, and there's a QR code here on the camera itself too. Now we do get this bracket. It's got the center screw coming out. It says the word front. We're going to mount this. So the way this bracket goes, you may have a round box with the electrical wires in there. You can mount it like that, but you got to make sure that threads is sticking up. That's what it mounts to. You may have an outlet box that's like a rectangle, and you can also mount it to that too. So let's go over. You could have a minimum of a 2 1/4 inches between the screws and a maximum of almost 3 3/4. A standard electrical box is about 3 1/2 inches between the screws. Now once you get that mounted, this hook here is to hook here, and then you're going to hook the light onto it so that you can hook the wiring up. Now there is a QR code that is the same as on the camera that comes with it on the front of the manual. So if you get it all installed, you could scan this QR code right here. Okay, so they kind of explain bag A is for standard screws for most metal boxes, B and C are longer for metal boxes, and D, E, and F are plastic boxes. So right here, open up A. These are standard screws. Now if your electrical box already has, if it already had, like mine already have the screws installed, I'm going to use the screws that are there. But if you didn't, you could put these screws through these threads right here, but those might be a little bit bigger. And so you've got all different sizes. A through F. Let's go down to F, a little bit smaller. So, and then you have longer, depending on how far away your box is. So this is probably the screw. Okay, so make sure you remove power from the wires, take your old light off or fixture off. This can go any which way. It doesn't matter where your screws are at, as long as that is in the center and coming out the front. So mine are right here. So I'm going to tighten those screws down, just like that. Okay, I've got my screws tightened down. I've got this hook, this S hook is around there. Now be careful, that is a little fragile, but be careful. Now I can hook the wiring up. I'm going to hook up the wire nuts, green to green, black to black, white to white. You may have a ground wire that comes in. You can attach that to this. And all the greens can go to this and then to this green. So I'm going to just wire nut the 2 greens together. Okay, so let's install the wire nuts. You want to take this extra little piece of plastic off the end. Okay, so now we've got the 2 greens. Put them together, twist them together. And it does come with these wire nuts. So you're going to hold the wires while you tighten down these wire nuts. These wire nuts should come almost stop there. I can't turn it anymore. Okay, now let's do the white ones. Again, twist them together first as much as you can. Then put the wire nut on. It's going to screw on real easy. Then it gets tight. Hold the wires together. All right, now it's nice and tight. Let's do the black one now. Again, hold them, screw or twist them, then put the wire nut on till it goes down and stops there. Now you need to find H. So H takes a Phillips screw, but it's got internal threads. That's what's going to screw onto that after we install it. So you want to take the S hook off, take it away. You're not going to leave it in the box or anything. Tuck the wires down in the box. All right. We want the lights to be up. Okay, so I already made a mistake. The wires come out the bottom. So I need the wires to come out the bottom. So let's... Okay, so I just took that screw loose. Now put the wire nuts in the bottom. It can be a little tricky. Yeah, you don't want any of those wires left around. Then find the center. All right. Now you got to put this thread, whoops. Make sure you turn it so the camera's on the bottom. A little tricky. You're going to put that in there. Get a Phillips screw driver. All right, it's installed. Now we can see there's an O-ring here that's going to go up against your siding or your box. That's going to keep the water out. And then there's where the Phillips screw went, right there. Now these do move up and down. And again, this does also, the camera should be on top because you can see the word blink. And now find this little cap, rubber plug. You're going to put the rubber plug right there. Now it's safe to power it up for the first time. So let me plug it in. All right, let me power it up. All right, we got power on. Blinking red light. Now we need to go to the Blink app. Okay, we've got 2 lights now. We need to go to the Blink app and set up this floodlight, wired floodlight. Okay, in your Blink app, you will need you need to click that plus button, but you will need to log in with a username and password. We're going to be installing a wired floodlight. All right, so it will help you install it, but I've already installed it. Enter the serial number. This is where you're going to scan that QR code. Okay, now it's going to ask you to make sure, look at the device, make sure you got a blinking blue light and steady green. I use the camera to scan the QR code on the manual. So the manual comes with a QR code, but you could scan the one right there on the back of the camera. So mine is solid and flashing. All right, discover device. You need to join. There's a Wi-Fi being transmitted by that camera, and you're going to have to join it. Now pick which Wi-Fi is yours and which one you want it to connect to, and then give it its password. And so you have to have a Blink sync module already. This is something that's plugged into the wall and has power all the time. You can put an SD card on it, but this is how all the Blink cameras will talk to this, and then this is how the Blink cameras get to the internet. This will connect to Wi-Fi, but you have to have one of these in order for that camera to work. So I have one of these down by where my router is, where my internet comes into my house. I have an SD card on it because it will save the recordings at night. You can pick a time in the middle of the night, but it has to have power all the time plugged in. So I kind of messed up, gave it the wrong Wi-Fi password. If any time, and then it turned red. So if you need to reset it and start over, press that for about 5 seconds and then the green light, and then it'll be in setup mode again. And it has to update the firmware. So leave everything plugged in. Okay, so there it is now finally. It shows up on your home screen. It's got a weird number. You can change that though. Okay, so there's a live view of that camera. And when it's live, I did hear like a little click and then the light went blue. And now I can turn the floodlight on. There's the floodlight. Yeah, that's a pretty white light. It's pretty bright. So yeah, click the 3 little buttons. You can turn the light on or off. Device settings. General. We want to change that because the name it gives it is a really long name. So you can go in here and set the motion settings, how sensitive, the zones. You can customize the zones. You have to take a photo. Update the cover photo. All right. Okay, so you're going to tap on these zones. If they're grayed out, that means it's inactive. If it senses motion in that area, it won't trigger the recording and notifications. So, but if you just touch them again, they go clear. We have privacy zones also. So if you don't, say if you got this pointed out towards your oh, you got to make a square. So yeah, it's like a thing, you make a square. So if the thing's pointed out towards your neighbor's house and you don't want to record their house, but you want to record the sidewalk in front of it, you can put a privacy zone. So then it'll blur that area out. And if we click on advanced, it zooms in and you can really, it makes you even more pixels. Reset activity. If you go back to basic, they're just bigger boxes. But if you go to advanced, it puts 4 boxes in each big box. You can adjust how long it records after the event, 10 seconds. Motion recording types. Person detection, only person detection recordings will be saved in the clips tab, or all motion. So even if you get like a tree branch, when you got it in all motion, it'll record that tree branch. But if you got it on person, it'll only hopefully do it when it recognizes people. And again, you can turn this motion detection on or off. Video settings, motion clip length 10 seconds, video quality standard. Best, you can go a little bit better, you know, it's in the middle. In clips early if motion stops, that's not on. Night visions and auto IR intensity. So there's lots of different settings. Light settings. You could put this on a dusk to dawn setting. Oh, we can adjust light brightness. That's interesting. Timeout after manual activation, 5 minutes. We can change that. Motion activated. Use built-in motion sensor to activate the light. So if it senses motion, it's going to start recording and turn the light on. Timeout after motion activation, 30 seconds, or you can go up to 15 minutes. But that, I didn't know you can do the brightness. That's nice. And you got to hit save afterwards. Let's go to privacy settings. Yeah, everything's on by default. There's the privacy zones. So it kind of shows up in 2 areas. Yeah, so there it is, and you can refresh the thumbnail. There's my sync module that it's connected to. And you can arm and disarm them, put them on schedules. Normally you can put each camera on a schedule, but normally you put the whole lot of them on a schedule. And refresh the thumbnail. That takes another picture so that you can, and there's the new thumbnail. Okay, measurements, it sticks out from the wall about 7 inches. Left to right looks like a maximum of about 9 inches. Up, down, you're looking at about 8 inches. Again, you can adjust these. There's kind of the maximum. The light's a little bit trickier to adjust. They're just kind of, it's more compact. You could turn them both over one way or something, and you can turn them up or way down. So lots of adjustments. The camera does get in the way a little bit, but okay. There's no built-in battery. I just removed power, and so it has to stay plugged in all the time, power on all the time. So if you've got it on a switch, put a guard on it so it never gets turned off. There's no battery built into this. You have to have the power on the box the entire time. So I hope this video helps. Thanks everybody for watching.